Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. My wife was just making fun of me last night because all of a sudden, like you wake up one day and you need a haircut. Like a couple of days ago, I didn't need a haircut, and all of a sudden, so welcome to Sunday Comics. Today we're gonna check out Fantastic Four 262, a legendary comic among comics. This is in the middle of the John Byrne run. So John Byrne is the writer, artist, and we'll check out all the extra credits inside. I got to sneeze. So this is the cover. I don't know. Would it have been better to have everything individual, like all the individual faces colored? But this is, like all these different races, and you can see the Human Torch over here, the Invisible Woman. There's the Thing, but the Gladiator, Lilandra, a Scroll. But I always wondered that, like, would it have been better to individually color these faces rather than just have like red? And I'm slightly off, and that's driving me insane. Yeah, I have to tilt this to get it straight. Why is that? Why is that? Okay, how's that? All right. So this is Fantastic Four 262, 60 cents. Wow. I remember when I was going to quit comics when they went to 50 cents. Uh, this is 1983. And it says over here, hey guys, I know it's Assistant Editors Month, but let's not do anything silly on the cover. Okay. Love and kisses, John. So what is that talking about? Well, at this point, Marvel was swimming in money, and they took all the editors to a retreat. Now, Marvel and DC would have like summits and retreats every once in a while, but they would usually go like all the Avengers people would go, like all the editors, assistant editors, and writers, or whatever for the Avengers, and go and plot out the Avengers. Or if they had like a company wide crossover, things like that. But this time they just took all the editors. They went to a hotel someplace, and all the assistant editors were in charge of their comics. And it was planned. They make it seem like it was. So a lot of the comics did goofy, silly things that month. Uh, the Avengers went on David Letterman, so that was assistant editors month. Why can't I think of all the other goofy things? But this one they toned down the goofiness. And the only really assistant editor-esque thing is they brought John Byrne himself into the comic. You'll see, which I have a lot of feelings. It's very complicated, my feelings about this particular comic. Uh, let's do channel news before I break into the actual comic. So first off, I want to say I saw a Working Man last night. My wife and I went to a movie theater near us that it's like, does anybody else get that way? It's like that's our movie theater. Like we try not to go to any other movie theater. This is our movie theater, so we go there. We went there at, I think it was 4 o'clock, to see The Chosen. My wife loves that show, The Chosen, the life of Jesus and the apostles. So they put 2 episodes. You go to the movies, so we saw that. That was really good. Then we came home and fed the stray cats around 6 o'clock because they wait for us on the porch. So we fed the stray cats, and then at 8 o'clock, 8:30, we went to go see A Working Man, which is the first, maybe, hopefully, the first of a series of movies based on Chuck Dixon's Levon Cade series. So my wife was like, I can't complain. He went with me to see The Chosen, so we went. So we drove to the movie theater, and we had plenty of time. So I was like, look, what is that place? And it's a ramen place. So I was like, oh, let's check it out. I said, I'm in the mood for noodles. I was like, we have an hour. So we actually had like a whole hour. So we went, it was like all anime. I put a picture on Twitter. It was all anime everywhere. And I thought we were just going to order like an appetizer. My wife ordered a big bowl of like curried vegetables. It was delicious. So I want to go back to it next. So I ordered like an appetizer. My wife ordered a meal. I would like to go back there and try their ramen and everything like that. I love ramen. So anyway, then we saw Working Man, and my wife was into it. She, I remember trying to get her to watch John Wick, and all she knew about John Wick was that a dog died, and she did not want to watch it. So I was like, let's just watch it. You'll like it. You like it. And she loved it. She absolutely loved it, to the point where we saw the rest of the John Wick movies in the theater. Oh, so to the point where she knows the names of all like the secondary characters. I just know John Wick's name. I don't even know Halle Berry's character's name, but she knows everybody's names and everything like that. She loved. So long story short, she loved Levon Cade. It was an inferior version of John Wick. You could see the limitations. At one point, a guy's driving a motorcycle into the bar to attack, and Levon Cade shoots him with his gun, and you could see the rope pull him off the motorcycle. It was like real low budget. There was a couple of hokey things, like it might as well have been a Batman movie, because like the villains were ridiculously comic booky, and basically it was written by a comic book writer. So there you go. But it was the Punisher. It was the Punisher, except the Punisher has a daughter. So there you go. If you like it, it was a good night out. It was a good night out. Since I am officially Chuck Dixon's buddy, I am legally bound to go see that movie. So it was good to go see it on opening weekend. I hope I contributed to the success of the movie. So the next thing I need to talk about is Heroic Tales 2. The campaign goes live Friday night. I'm going to be on Michael Bancroft's channel. I'm only going to have two versions of the comic: the Renzo version, and then the variant version with Josh Howard and Jose Garcia. There's been push for a cosplay variant, but I only have Martina Markota as Mary Sue. So I it would just drive me nuts to do a Mary Sue variant and not have a Patriarch variant. So I don't know what to do if people request it. So we got a week. We got a week. Maybe I'll take the because Martina Markota did a bunch of poses as Mary Sue. I don't know. Maybe make like a art print of it or something. I don't know. I don't know what to do. So I'm asking you people in the audience. So there's only going to be two versions of the comic, maybe three. I have a second printing cover in the works. That might be like another campaign. But you could go here, and get issue number 1 in the meantime. If you didn't get issue 1, or there's a cover that you liked and you didn't get, they will still be available here. I was going to close this down, but I'm thinking if you want it now, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't want to wait, you could use this link, buy it, and I'll ship it out right away. This only comes in drips and drabs now. But if you want to get issue 1 and issue 2 and whatever variant covers, everything, and you just want to save on shipping and have it all in one package, then use the new link, which will be generated. It's probably going to be from my comic Heroic Tales 02, because you could pick your own number on my comic. So there you go. There's going to be 2 t-shirts available. There's going to be cards available. I think the first $3,000 is just going to be the comic. After $3,000, every $1,000 I'll unlock a card, and we'll talk about that. So Random Booby, how you doing, Random? How's it going? Hey James, how you doing? Good to see you. Looking forward to April 4th. Me too. I'm excited. The two main emotions are nervousness and excitement, but I gotta say, excitement is getting higher than the nervousness. I think it's going to do better than the first issue. Hey, Marcus, how you doing? Red background adds doom and gloom to the story inside. Yeah, I'll buy that. I'll buy that for $1. RJ Williams, how you doing? How's everybody? How are you doing, RJ? He was just on my channel. A lot of RJs. Ben Sabar, how you doing? Good to see you, Ben. Hail, everybody. Smeagol, I live with Gollum. Yeah, in case you don't know what he's talking about, the house that I live in now, geez, years now, I can't believe it. But I moved in during COVID. So what is it? 4 years, 4 years, 5 years? I forget. I'll ask my wife. She knows that stuff. I don't. And came with the stray cat. The woman was just like, "Would you feed this cat that's been living in the house?" And my wife instantly like, "Where's the cat?" Beautiful little cat, but it was scared. And it just hid, and all you saw was little eyes behind bushes. And I said it's like Smeagol, and that became its name, Smeagol. But now it won't let us pet us, but we could both occupy our tiny little porch at the same time, And I reach down, and it looks at my hand and then runs away at the last second. My wife could probably pet him if she wanted to, but she's afraid that it'll scratch her. So Smeagol, and then another little girl black cat. So Smeagol's a boy. A little girl black cat showed up, and she had kittens and kittens and kittens. We gave away all the kittens. We got her fixed, and now she just lives. So it's Smeagol and Funky. She called it Funky Fur because the cat had patches of fur missing. We took her to the vet, got her fixed, got her shot, and now she's just beautiful to the point Funky Fur is not a good name for her anymore. She's just a beautiful, beautiful little black cat. And Smeagol and Funky, we have a little house for them. They sleep in a little house together. They're a cute couple. And then there's another cat. My wife calls him Fuzzy Britches. And he's just this big, beautiful black and white male cat, just huge, radiates maleness, big, broad face and everything like that. Like he looks like he should be a lion. I call him a Beefsteak Charlie because the white patches looks like a big mustache. If you remember those old Beefsteak Charlie restaurant commercials, but he's a beautiful cat. So that's the story of my strays. So he has Gandalf. I don't know, is Gandalf a stray or is Gandalf your inside cat? Because inside the house, I got Thor and Lucy. Hey, Zach Dan, I got my blessing. All right, I can continue. Private America needs a movie, but the Daily Wire, Angel Studios will have to make it because Hollywood doesn't have the balls. Yeah. I think the tide, excuse me, I think the tide is slowly turning. But unfortunately, like for the next year or two, we're going to be dealing with movies that were made before the tide turned. But I think, I think we have a better chance now than we used to. But let's see. Hey, Pete, how you doing? Pete? It's the cat's world. We just live in it. Yep. My cat's name is Sharkbite. Does he bite you? Does he draw blood? Because my cats give like love bites. Like Lucy. Lucy is my cat. Thor is my wife's cat. Thor follows my wife around. Like if my wife is not in view of Thor, he freaks out and starts meow, meow. It's really freaky, actually. It's kind of scary. As soon as he sees her, he lays down and he purrs. Whereas Lucy, she's scared of everything. She hasn't recovered from moving from the apartment. She lived in the apartment for 12 years. Now she's been here for 4, and she just stays in the bedroom. She only comes out to use the litter box or eat. She just stays in the bedroom. I keep bringing her down here, and she's like, and she just runs back upstairs. So, but when I go to bed, I always go to bed early. She cuddles up next to me and purrs, and then bites my hand. It's cute. The Daily Wire might be going bankrupt. Yeah, how coincidental that it is that USA closes down and then Daily Wire closes down. Go figure. All right. I'll use my deep voice now. All right, so let's get into this comic. We got a bunch of people. I just got this the way I wanted to, and then I kicked it with my foot. So let's open up the comic and start a talking. We got a Battlezone game. Man, I used to love Battlezone. Battlezone was my favorite game for a long, long time. Real primitive by today's standards, but I still love it. So here we got, this is the gimmick of I think I might need to turn up the light. How's that? I don't care if my face is glowing. All right. So this is the gimmick over here that John Byrne. So This is Mike. Who's the editor? The credits later. Who's the editor on this? Mike DiCarlo. He's calling up. He's like, John, I know you're busy. Where's the Fantastic Four? We need the issue. You know, we don't have the artwork. John Byrne's just like, I am out of ideas. I can't think of anything. But the conceit in the Marvel universe is the Fantastic Four actually call Marvel and tell them what they were doing, so that the comic books are a record of what the Fantastic Four actually did. It's kind of funny. It's kind of hokey, but it's kind of funny, but it works in a comic book way. So that's the story. You can see Jerry Garcia stuff in the background, and John Byrne wishes he looked that good. All right, give me another 24 hours, okay? I'll try the Fantastic Four's head, and if I don't get satisfaction, I'll invent a story. And they're kind of goofing on themselves, like we don't have the imagination to actually make up a story. And going forward, I'll talk about the pages and then address the comments. Okay, one more time, 1-800-555-444. So anybody ever call that number? That's supposed to be the hotline to the Fantastic Four. If Marvel didn't buy that number and put like Roberta on it, they really missed out. Fantastic Four Incorporated. Oh, good morning, Mr. Bird. No, I'm sorry. The Fantastic Four is still up. No, I still don't know where they were. I'll tell you when because at this rate, I'll have to make up some dumb story. Oh, John Byrne, I have come for you. Go watch her. So there you go. You see how this story is going. John Byrne self-insert literally into the comic. And this is his wife. Honey, I'm off the Westinghouse shoot. She was a fashion photographer, this wife. I think he's another wife past this wife. Maybe he's up to his third wife. I don't know. But this is this wife was a fashion photographer, and she would give him input to what women actually wear. So that was like my personal experience was John Byrne was the first comic book artist that I started to notice that people started to wear real clothes, like what current fashions were. Everybody else just wore like purple pants and a green jacket. You know what I mean? Like if you were walking down the street and everybody was dressed like a Jack Kirby comic, you would notice. You're like, this is weird, but it works in a comic because it's a comic. But John Byrne is starting to use real world clothes. Not a big deal, but it's a touch. And we kind of went back a little bit, especially like the Image years. Just watch like the average person in Image comics. They wear like they wear like superhero outfits. You know what I mean? They wear a skin tight t-shirt, skin tight pants. It's basically they're flesh colored to look like clothes, even the regular people. But this looks like real clothes. John. So he's disappeared. Here is John Byrne flying, and he's doing this. I don't know what it's called, early proto Photoshop, but it's real asteroids and stuff in the background. Jack Kirby used to do this all the time, and I guess with the modern printing, modern color, it looks better. I hated when Jack Kirby did this. It just because it was black and white, and it just was clear as day that it was, this was real photographs inserted into comic book drawings, and it just hurt my sensibilities. It just didn't look right. This one, they got some sort of color wash over it. I don't know, but it doesn't look as bad. So what are they doing? They're traveling through like hyperspace, have no fear, Earthman. You are beyond the physical realm. You are being shown sights few humans have ever seen. I appreciate, but why me? Because you are the chronicler, John Byrne. You have fallen onto the task of recording the exploits of the Fantastic Four. And even as we speak, events unfold which may herald the last adventure of the heroic foursome you must now report upon. So there you go. He's got a clipped ear from Nurture Release. Brought him home on the first day of Shark Week. What else can I call? Oh, okay. So that's why he's Shark Bite. He got bit by a shark during Shark Week. That's good. So you rescued a stray. That's good. John Byrne isn't married. This was his only wife. Oh, okay. Who am I thinking of then? Peter David has like 3 or 4 wives. And because John Byrne, I thought was divorced, and then I thought he married another woman whose kid started to draw for comics too, like her kid, like John Byrne's like step kid. But I'm probably misremembering the personal lives. 3D assets. Yes, we got the 3D assets inserted in here, and this is John Byrne's actual drawing room. And if you are eagle-eyed, you'll notice that this room has been in the X-Men mansion during the Claremont Byrne years. Many times this room has been in the X mansion. The worst author incident of all time is Stephen King ruining the Dark Tower books. King wrote a great series and then destroyed it. I never read anything by Stephen King. I was never interested. And now seeing how he's a crazy person, I'm glad. I'm trying to think, probably Creepshow is probably my favorite Stephen King movie. Reminds me of Courtroom Artists when photographers are not allowed. Yeah. Such a weird habit. It's weird hearing about the personal drama of old comic book pros. It is, isn't it? Only comic books can record superhero stories because film might reveal sensitive information. Yeah, I know. You think the Fantastic Four would have like the CIA working with them and taking all their information, you know what I mean? But I guess yes, Kieran Dwyer is his wife's son. That's right. My mom loves Stephen King. Okay, so let's get to this next. The War Room. The War Room. We got Doctor Strange over here. Look at not that many titles, but all these titles are really good, except for US1. US1. A guy that can receive radio CB signals through his teeth. What is this? 321 Contact. Oh, okay. Starting October 17th on your public TV children's television workshop. 321 Contact. It was like a Zoom or Sesame Street or Electric Company show. PBS used to have like Sesame Street was for like the real young babies. And then like Electric Company was the next stage up, and then Zoom, and then I think 321 was like the next. Like, so you were supposed to, as you grew out of one, they caught you with another one. I don't know what's on. I guess there's no need for PBS anymore with this cartoons on all the time. So here we go. Editorial. So I'm Michael Higgins. What did I think? I thought it was Michael DiCarlo, but it's Michael Higgins, assistant editor to Bob Budinsky's assistant editor. So that was Michael Higgins in the comic. And there we go. We're talking about that. So this is the editor writing. These are the actual letters from the audience. Stephen Growowski, Kyle Tokahim, Fred Burnham. Okay. Alien Legion. Stephen King has a few good hits, what made him famous, but he's made some weird ones. Again, I can't. All I really know by is the movies. I never read anything by him. The Trial of Reed Richards. We got Gladiator over here, Leandra from the Shire, Reed Richards over here, The Watcher, John Byrne, Fantastic Four, and is that? Oh no, that's an alien guy. Okay, a lot of green, and this is the multitudes of all people. There's so much good stuff in this. So much good stuff in this comic. So, I can't believe this is just this. Even as a kid, I noticed this. So John Byrne just comes stomping in. Mrs. Richards, what is this? What's happening? What the heck are you doing here, Byrne? Or maybe he's come to get the story right this time. Yeah, well, I don't think we're talking anything more important than a comic book. Apparently, the Watcher disagrees with you, kid. Sue? Oh, John, it's just terrible. Do you remember when Reed helped save the life of Galactus all those months ago? Well, now the survivors of the world's Galactus has consumed one to kill Reed. Yeah, and we almost had him convinced Big Brain done the right thing, saving the Big G. So I love this. John Byrne just dismisses Johnny Storch, Larry Storch's brother, Johnny Storm, and just talks. And she's like, "Oh, John," because John Byrne's favorite character was Sue Storm, and he just goes and, I'm sure if there was no editor, he would just be like, "Let's continue our affair, Mrs. Storm." Miss Storm, read Mrs. Richards. But look at the background, pretty clever. They have this green backdrop over here, so he can get away with not drawing anything because technically he's filling in all the details. Pretty clever. Since there's no comments, I'll just keep going. So here we got Empress Leandra and Gladiator. That blasted bird lady turned up and queered the whole deal. Bird lady, Bird wanders out loud. Oh my gosh, that's Princess Leandra. So, right. So here's what's going on. Now they give you the backstory. Leandra is the name, all right, John, but she calls herself Magistrix Shi'ar, whatever that means. It means it's the Empress of the Shi'ar Galaxy. Come on, Sue, you're smarter than that. We first encountered it months ago. CFS 251, 256. So Reed and Sue are in bed together, and Leandra shows up as a hologram and basically says, Galactus was here. He was about to die, and you saved him. From now on, the next time he consumes a planet, it's your fault. It's your fault. You saved Galactus. You know what Galactus is. You saved him, and you're responsible for what he does. And John Byrne, why that arrogant witch? I've always had the impression she was too full of her own importance, but to actually threaten the Fantastic Four, she's the Emperor. That's what they do. They enforce intergalactic rules. So we are Leandra, Magistrix of the Shi'ar, and appointed prosecutor. Let the trial first begin. Carriant Kiar, Skrull prelate of the 7th Quadrant. What did she get off starting the trial? We even have a jury yet. And he's like, oh yeah, well, Reed Richards selected the jury. Here we go. And it's this always. I was like, all right, it's alien. But they got these globes, okay? And these globes are like they flicker and change. They represent the emotions, the judgments of all present. So everybody in the attendance, the hundreds of thousands, millions, or whatever sentient alien beings, all of their judgment energy is projected upon the globe. If they all turn white, he's innocent. If they turn white at any time, then the verdict is not guilty and the trial's at an end. Huh? Now, first witness. I am Claret Kiar. I am the prelate of the 7th Quadrant of the Skrull Empire. Hear my words, all you gathered races, survivors of the hungers of Galactus. Hear my words and share my anguish and rage at the death of a world. John Byrne's a good writer. I love this. So here we got Nova, Frankie Ray flying around. She finds the Skrull homeworld. Galactus lands, and he doesn't set up his machinery or anything like that. He's just, I got no time. He just immerses himself into the Skrull homeworld and devours it. I freaking love the concept of Galactus. I love the concept of Galactus. It is so good. It's so original. And they just like devalued Galactus, if you ask me. He should be rare. When Galactus shows up, it's oh my god, it's a legendary. Now he's getting defeated by Squirrel Girl. Now he has like daughters that speak like Valley Girls. It's just, come on, Marvel. I tweeted Tom Brevoort was just like, I've been working for Marvel for 35 years. And I was like, oh, congratulations. You presiding over the decline of Marvel in sales and quality. And he's like, I'm sorry, comic books weren't as good as now as they were when you were 10. And I'm like, yeah, you should be sorry. I mean, look at this. Look at this. You should be striving for this. That was like the worst self-own in the history of comics, if you ask me. Star Frontiers. No comments. Guys, come on. Let's see some comments. Makes me think something's wrong because I'm not that entertaining that you're mesmerized by my voice. So he broke apart the planet into fragments. He stole all the life force. And, the thing about the scrolls is they're spacefaring, so they're all over the place. That's the thing about places; they're all over the place, and there's outposts, colonies, and things like that of scrolls that still exist. So the race still exists. Just the homeworld was destroyed. My throne world was no more, shattered, lifeless fragments left alone to mark the position of a once proud planet, and it need not have been so. Princess Enel, 7 billion scrolls, would still be alive if not for the actions of one human. He's right. If I had not acted to save Galactus, all those scrolls would still be alive. It is almost impossible to comprehend. 7 billion annihilated in a matter of hours. But what I did was right. I still believe it. The scroll has spoken, but he is just one voice crying out in the torment of a vast, agonizing symphony of anguish. The prosecution will now show that Reed Richards knew what he did, knew the inevitable consequences of his actions. So one by one, all of these races just tell their story. One by one, they just tell the story of the destruction of the worlds. And in every instance, the stories. I don't care how much this is going. I said at the time, it would have been easier to let Galactus die. So Johnny Storm's like, it just would have been easier to let Galactus die. Guard your words, Johnny Storm. Let they count towards your brother in his law's undoing. I now have a test that only you could perform. A test? Now we're talking. I'm going buggy with all sense. Flame on. Your enthusiasm does you justice. Now be gone to the realms beyond mortal kin. The defense I have need of is special witness, but you must guide him hither. So Johnny's gone, just like the first time when Galactus showed up in the Watcher sent Johnny Storm. So that, like George Lucas says, it rhymes, it echoes. Oh, a lot of comments. Don't apologize. You're allowed to be in the car. You don't believe in the Skrull conspiracy theory, do you? What is it? Is this a joke, or is this a Reddit thing, or is this a comic thing? This is the first time hearing about it. What's going on? Enlighten me. I don't remember. Why did he save Galactus to begin with? Because Reed Richards is a good guy, and good guys save people. Really, basically it. Galactus was about to die. Galactus saved him. And Johnny Storm and the Thing were like, no, let him go. Sue sided with her husband, and then they all, sided with them. I agree with you about Galactus. Omnipoo B. Great name. How you doing? Good to see you. A new name. I love seeing new names. Thank you. Yeah, Galactus is supposed to be rare. And when he shows up, it's an event. You know what I mean? Didn't the scrolls do countless damage to other worlds too? Yeah, but with not all scrolls, not all Nazis killed people. Not all, the scrolls are supposed to be we kind of forget now, but the scrolls were, the commies. They all look the same. They all, were sleeper agents that came to Earth and infiltrated and turned our institutions against us. The scrolls supposed to be commies, so who cares? Doesn't Galactus know about farming? Just eat half a planet, wait for it to grow back. Well, that's just it. He hungers. He can't take a little sip. Little sip. It's not like Lita Laserfist asked Screw the Scrolls. If it's Lita Laserfist. She's the Tom DeFalco, Paul Ryan run. She was Johnny Storm's Skrull wife. I also like the Crusader. How's that for a deep cut? Stippling. Right, so now. Wait, where the torch? Where did he go? Calm yourself, John Byrne. Have I not promised to you all things will be known in time? Now take your place with the rest of the Fantastic Force. Time to begin the defense. What do you mean? The Watcher is going to be Mr. Fantastic Defense Council? Does not violate the race's code of non-interference? The Watcher says not, John. He says that more than just Reed is on trial here. It's the Galactus himself who must be judged. And that makes this trial the most important, is that an eventual outcome will affect even the Watcher's own race. So now the Watcher is arguing on behalf of, for me, now, hear me now, survivors. I'm Uatu of the race of the Watchers. Mine is a people older than all of your histories combined. Ours was a planet of the first to form from the cosmic fires that birthed the universe. Long has the being called Galactus been known to us, and long have we sought to comprehend him. Reed Richards' act was based upon his all small comprehension of the cosmic all of Galactus. Reed Richards shall thus be first to speak now. How do you plead to the charges brought against you? How else can I plead but guilty? Shockwave! I'm guilty. Guilty. A single word spoken through the great resolve. It lances through the alien assembly like an electric charge. This is a woman of the race of Terax the Tamer. You know, I love looking at that stuff. Like, are there anybody recognize any of these other alien races? You know, and the effect shall be watching humans through the effect of no less Galvan. No, don't say it. Take it easy. Your Hubbins never quits that easy. He's got some ace up his sleeve. He's gotta. You know, guilty? Then you accept your part in the most heinous of all crimes, Reed Richards. You stand prepared and ready to face the full inevitable weight of the Shi'ar law. Not at all, Magistrix. I remind the court that the charge against me is that willingly saving the life of Galactus. That action is a documented historical fact. It would be pointless of me to attempt to disclaim it, and therefore I must plead guilty as charged. But I further remind you that the issue before this body today is not whether or not I saved Galactus, but rather if doing so, in fact, constitutes a crime. A little bit of what's razzle dazzle? What was that? Chicago? Of that, I can only say this. When Galactus first came forth all those long years ago, we were told by the Watcher that he was not evil, that Galactus is in fact beyond good and evil, which is a statement which has long troubled me. For if a being is truly neither good nor evil, then by definition he is neutral. Yet clearly Galactus is not a neutral being, which increases frequently. He feeds upon the life essence of whole planets. And should those planets prove to be inhabited by his effect is catastrophic to say the least. So how can any rational man judge that to be neutral? Okay, so far, I'm with him. You know, the problem here is this is an argument from authority. You know, I need you legalese people here to back me up on this. The Watcher says he's beyond good and evil. Do we accept the Watcher's word? What authority does the Watcher speak on? You know, the Watcher is basically like, hey, Zaktan is beyond good and evil. Do I have a whole law case based on that? Who am I? You know, so they need to have a legal expert to say if the Watcher is an authority. You know what I mean? They're skipping a few steps here. The Watcher says that Galactus is beyond good and evil. Okay, so right now she'd be like, well, who the F is the Watcher to say this? You know? Now the Watcher should be on trial. Okay? There you go. Do we have any good scrolls in the classic comics? The Crusader. I've been looking for omnibuses of bronze and copperate stuff. Conan, Fantastic Four, Captain America. Oh, yeah. Get them. Such good stuff. Good stuff. I'm biased. You know, my comic is supposed to be a Bronze Age comic. You know, I'm biased. This is my favorite stuff. You know, I'm guilty of being awesome. That's what he should have said. Where's this space lawyer? Galactus vs. the Sphinx is one of the best. I did that on Sunday Comics a while ago. That is one of my favorite comics. And you'll see an homage to it in Heroic Tales if we could get to it. I need you guys to come out on April 4th, back my comic, and do it again. Renzo says we could speed up production, so that'll be awesome. So Reed Richards is guilty of being misled and acted accordingly to the information he was given. Random Booby is following what he's picking up what I'm laying down. In order for an authority to be valid, they would have to have the ability to know and the character to not lie. Okay. I don't know all the legalese, but even as a kid, I was just like, the Watcher said it, so therefore, like, does the Shi'ar Empire, does the Skrull Empire, does the what other empires are there? There's the Shi'ar, the Skrull, the Kree. Do all of these empires accept the Watcher's authority? Authority is a funny thing, you know. Can you just give yourself authority? Because that's what the Watcher is doing. So, to me, this whole comic falls into a logical fallacy of this isn't the trial of Galactus now. This is, to me, are the Watchers the authority of the universe? And if so, who gave them? Just because they evolved first? You know what I mean? And the Watchers are fallible. We all know the history of the Watchers. They gave technology to those races, and the race went and blew up other planets and eventually destroyed themselves. Their whole premise is based on the fact that they're fallible. So, you know where I stand on this already. So we got Reed Richards and we got my 3D assets behind him. Albert Einstein once said, God does not play dice with men. He meant that there is an order of things in the universe. And it does not require any belief in the supreme being to realize that Galactus must somehow be part of the order. And I suspect an important part. Okay? For if he's truly to be considered neutral, then the apparent evil of his actions must in the end result not be evil. And so they must be good. I cannot believe he would be allowed to exist if this is not the case. Okay, let's change Galactus. Okay, so Galactus, he exists, so he's part of the universe, so therefore he's good, just like AIDS. Just like AIDS. AIDS exists, it's part of the universe, it's good. So don't cure it. Don't cure AIDS. You see where I'm going? That is your defense? A child's game of arithmetic? Where's the proof? Proof that the deaths of uncounted billions work towards a greater good. Ultimately, I have no proof, Magistrix. I only have logic and faith. Measure now the power of the intellect for one lone Earthman, for he has reasoned order out of chaos, and he has reasoned correctly, because I am an authority, even though my race caused genocide. As will be shown with the testimony of my second witness. Look now to the center of the court. Watcher, he came. Yes, and I would have done so without thy plea, lad, for there are matters that are of great concern to Odin. Odin, holy frijoles. The Watcher must have sent the torch to Asgard. He's so imposing. We've met Thor a half a dozen times, but somehow I never made the connection. Asgard, the ancient Norse gods, and Odin, their ruler. He said he was going to come to the testimony for Reed even if the Watcher hadn't asked. Reminds me to be impressed, even when I get over being flabbergasted. I love the thing's dialogue. I wish I could write a sentence as good as that sentence. That is so good. I've witnessed. This witness, I believe, is known to the members of the court. He is called as an expert witness on the subject of Galactus. Are his credentials acceptable to the prosecution? And she says, yes. And my question is, why? Why does Leandra give a rat's ass about what the sky god of Earth says? Do you think if the sky god of the Leandrians, of the Shi'ar, or the potato god of the Skrulls was to show up at an Earth trial, anybody would care? Hell, most people on Earth don't care what Odin thinks. Why is he an authority? This is another, John Byrne, this is another false dichotomy. Is that the right word? A plea to authority. Why would the Shi'ar Empire recognize Odin? You know, because he's just a parochial local sky deity, you know? So does that mean, you know, the Aztec gods hold sway over what the empire says? You know, does you know, Hephaestus have a say? It's you know where I'm going with this one. Odin's one of my favorite fictional characters, but I just can't buy this one. So now Odin gives a history of Galactus, which is really cool. There was once a world of such magnificence that even fabled Asgard might suffer in comparison to the planet Ta. For all its glories, it was a planet doomed, a planet dying. In that world, one man alone had the wisdom to know what it was that was so doomed, and he spoke its name. The plague that threatens it all has no cure, for the final plague is entropy. Our very universe is grinding to its end. His name was Galan, although it not, although he knew it not, he would come to be known as Galactus. So Galactus was a human. He was a human. Keep that in mind. Let's address the chat. So, sounds like they're punishing Reed because they can't arrest Galactus, but they want to punish someone for his deeds. Exactly. Absolutely. Exactly. They're looking at it as Reed lit the match, threw the match into the forest, and the forest fire killed people. You know what I mean? Can't blame the forest fire, but you started it. You're the arsonist. You know what I mean? It makes sense to me for the Shah. He's balanced. He everybody, good and bad. So does AIDS. So does cancer. Off to church. Catch up with you later. Humanish. Yeah, humanish. That's human. That's human. At this point, there was no opposite to Galactus. Later, the Celestials became his opposite, creating worlds that he destroyed them to manage the universal overpopulation. And now we got Unscramble the Fun. We got Bubble Yum. So, thus did Galen and a small crew of brave men leave the center of Ta, seeking out the center of their universe. The place where all time and space ended, the place where time and space ended as all things returned from whence they came. The universe became a giant black hole, consuming itself. And in the unimaginable center plunged the last of Ta. All save one died. To him, a voice whispered, a voice beyond the comprehensions of the sentience of the universe. No being can guess how long the man called Galen lay in the embrace of a dying cosmos. But when the death gave itself as birth to our universe, the last ship of Ta was flung out, somehow remade. And it alone survivor was eventually found by one of the Watcher's race. In keeping with his tradition, the Watcher studied the energy thing that was once Galen of Ta. Studied, but did not interfere, along with the growth, allowing it to leap again into the spaceship called the Great Incubator. Okay, I thought the Watcher put it in the Great Incubator. No, it put itself into it. Long did that silent cube drift as the universe around it and life spread. And then Kristar the Warrior came. One day, the fateful day came, the cube opened, and Galactus lived. Okay, so there we go. Thus was born into the new universe a new natural force, like the solar wind, like the supernova, like the rolling seas that tested our Vikings, worshippers, tested them and made them strong. Such is the function of Galactus. To each world in time he comes and he passes a test. For those that pass the test are strengthened by it, made more worthy by that great fate, which is the promised end of our universe. Those that fail are totally and forever extra plunged, wiped from the slate of time and space. The actions of Reed Richards are in no way criminal. Let this trial be at an end. So speaks Odin. And the mystic winds rise to the bear away the Lord of Asgard. Woohoo, we did it. We won. I knew the big brain would get cleared. It's so wonderful. It's almost too good to be true. Wait a minute, gang. John Byrne says, wait a minute, gang. Oh, okay. Good morning. Hey, Crenshaw, how you doing? Is this the Marvel version of the Nuremberg trials, an argument of ultimate authority and morality? Kind of. So Odin says it's a test. It's a test. Keep in mind, this is people that survived Galactus. You know what I mean? So we survived Galactus. How did we survive? Because the Watcher intervened. So the Watcher says that Galactus is not good or evil, but then gives Johnny Storm the ultimate nullifier. So we didn't pass the test. How are we strong enough to pass the test? We would have failed if not for the Watcher. The Watcher saved Galactus. You hear what I'm saying? If the Watcher didn't interfere, give Johnny Storm the ultimate nullifier, Earth would have been consumed, and then when Galactus was starving to death, he would have died. This whole trial is a conflict of interest. This is the Watcher protecting himself. Right? Because if you're going to say Reed Richards saving the Galactus caused the death of the Skrulls, the Watcher saving Reed Richards saved Galactus, caused the death of the Skrulls. And they're using the authority of the Watcher. I don't think we're done yet. The prosecution respects the knowledge of the entity Odin. Why? Why do they respect the entity of Odin? These people never heard of Odin. Are you telling me that Marvel's Odin is known throughout the universe? Then why aren't there aliens in Asgard? Why don't the Skrulls have Thor hammers? You know what I mean? Odin is a parochial human earth deity. He's the god of the sky of Earth. He's not the god of the sky of Mulsjberberb. You know, he speaks Norse. He speaks, is this the, oh yeah. Could they put the Watcher on trial? Do they have the power of the authority? Well, I have a lot to say about this comic. And I might as well. So Friday night on It's Clobbering Time, it's going to be early because I'm going to be launching my comic. But Fridays, if you noticed, if anybody watched It's Clobbering Time Friday night, I didn't ask the chat what to do next week because I already planned. It's going to be Reed Richards versus Galactus. And specifically, it's going to be talking about this comic. So this comic, I wanted to show everybody so that next Friday we could have a philosophical debate about this comic. This is one of the most important comics in Marvel, and at the same time, it's one of the most infuriating comics in Marvel. It just, even as a kid, it just drove me nuts. All right. So now we got Nova. He just fires and smashes the judgment beads, and she is Nova. Frankie, it's Frankie. Take it easy, brother. She's no longer Frankie Ray. She belongs to the cosmos, and where she goes, Galactus is sure to follow. This was always awesome. This is awesome. And his herald brought fear. Imagine if you can, the terror, the blind, unreasoning panic that now rips through the assemblage. 1,000,000 and more alien eyes look upon him who is Galactus, and for each race the vision differs. For Galactus is no longer a physical being in the absolute physical sense. He is, as Odin named him, a force of nature. And each mind that views him struggles as best it can to perceive that unguessable force as an image it can only comprehend. So each one of these pictures, I just think this is so cool. This is one of the things that makes me love John Byrne. Each race views Galactus as their own mind can view him. It's just so freaking cool. Oh man, as much as this comic infuriates me, there's so many cool things. Billy Ray was a preacher's son, and when Daddy would visit, he would come along. You meant to say Beta Ray. Beta Ray Bill is an alien and worthy, so maybe Odin is known throughout the universe under different names. Good point. But Beta Ray Bill didn't know who Odin was. He didn't know who Thor was. You know, he started fighting Thor. He didn't say, "Oh wow, this is Thor's hammer." No, Odin, by this time, Odin has been established as a leader of the cosmos of the Marvel Universe. What he really is in this universe doesn't matter in the comic. Could you back that up? Where did they say that Odin? I mean, Odin declared himself there's a leader in the cosmos, but I've yet to see alien races with worshiping Odin or talking about Odin, or wearing eye patches, and like in the Thor comics before this. I'm trying to think if Thor 300 was before this or after this. Odin was, dealing with celestials and things like that, but that's Odin talking. And Odin makes mistakes. Odin's fallible. So I don't know if I buy that. I will buy it if you could back it up with but and just Odin, not Zeus. What about Ra? What about is every leader of every pantheon? Odin's not even ruler of Earth. Odin's not even even in the Marvel universe. Odin's not the supreme god figure. We got Bolton's Marvel checklist, James Bond. Who drew this? Looks familiar, but I can't quite place it. So Galactus at last. I waited. So this little guy, everybody's running around screaming. And this little guy's like, Galactus, I waited for this. So he flies up to Galactus, and he's got this bomb pellet, it's going to drill into his armor, penetrate his flesh, and break him down, molecule by molecule, destroy Galactus. And he's like, because I think there was no way to test it. I don't know what if it fails? If it's not fail, it would just annoy him. And if so this guy, I just love this. He lands on Galactus, and Galactus defeats this guy without even knowing it. Galactus's awesome presence just intimidated him. Hear the words of Galactus. I bring no doom to those gathered here this day. I instead bring justice to the mortal I named friend. Reed Richards is a noble spirit, untainted by the pettiness of fear and hate, and his deed was honorable and good. So speaks Galactus. So speaks the cosmic truth, because I got to cover up for my crime. I got to cover up for my crime. Majestics, have a care. I am sworn ever to protect you, but against Galactus I have not the power. Your words have no value in this court, Ravager. By naming him your friend, you have not served to help Reed Richards, but to condemn him. You are known to me, Leandra, but I have consumed no share world. Why trouble yourself in the matters that do not concern you? The matters here concern the fate of all life kind, Galactus. I am sworn protector of all that lives against the likes of you, and I reject your testimony, unless it is to name it in the final call, nail in the coffin of the accused. I fear you have done more ill than good by your appearance here, Galactus. Yet there's still a chance that we must pluck salvation from hopelessness. I know whereof you speak. Our power combined might peel away the veil and bring him to us. Then let it be done. And then Galactus and the Watcher join hands. Yes, Galactus, the most unbiased witness for this trial. Yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. I ain't no problem. Jeffrey Dahmer's like, I was just hungry. I didn't do anything wrong. I was just hungry. You guys got to eat. So what? I had sex with the corpse. Guys got to eat. This feels like an episode of the classic Trek, and Reed is Captain Kirk. Yes. By what right do you have? This is like the measure of a man. Is that the Riker versus whether Data is alive or not? And a single bolt of inconceivable force rips wide the very fabric of reality. A tear. A wound opens in the empty air, a gateway that seems to take on human form. Who summons eternity? Which I have to say irks me, his portrayal in the Thor movie. He's just this wish-granting machine. That's all he does. He just sits there contemplating, and if you approach him, you get a wish. Yay, I'm a plot device. Who summons eternity? It is I who summon you, Father. Your power and knowledge are needed here this day. Such things are known to me, Galactus. Immortal life hangs in the balance because of your truth is doubted. Then let the ancient book be open. Let the minds of the mortals have knowledge of the unknowable. Let the cosmic truth be told. It is for a long moment some great and long sealed door has swung open. Fear and hatred are forgotten in each mortal mind. There briefly flares a pure golden light, sweet and thrilling, touching the soul and intellect alike. In that moment, are the many made one, and the one made in many, and each mind is suddenly the same mind, each soul the same ageless soul. They walk for the path of Galactus. They find it long and hard indeed. These are the countless beings of the universe gone, and the universe yet to be. They see and feel the joys and the sorrows and the glories and the pain. And though it all, they feel an overwhelming sense of purpose, a sure knowledge that there is a grand destiny for the universe, a grand and glorious destiny. And it comes in a pain of realization that the image of the universe shorn of Galactus and the consequences of that great destiny so suddenly snuffed out like a lone candle alone in the wind, and to all mortals present in this cosmic truth made plain. So there's a destiny, there's a purpose. We don't tell you what that purpose is, and Galactus is part of that destiny. And with it comes a plain realization, the image of the universe shorn of Galactus, and as a consequence of that great destiny so suddenly snuffed out, like a long candle in a long wind. So remember when your friend died of cancer? It had to happen for the purpose of the universe. You know, AIDS. Remember when that earthquake killed your grandmother? Had to happen. She doesn't belong in the universe. But this is just, there's a destiny. Galactus is part of that destiny. And without Galactus, we can't have that destiny. They don't tell you what the destiny is. They don't tell you, you know. And then I skipped a page. Or did I? Oh, and that was what happened, Mike. Eternity made everyone one with the universe, and we all just knew Galactus had to play. We just knew it. There was no logic. There was no reason. We just knew it. Leandra, everyone there accepted that Reach had done what had to be done, and everyone just sort of drifted away. The FF went back to the Earth. Josh, you've been hailing your pencil shavings. That's a wild story. Just get it on paper, get it off to me ASAP. The FF fans are going to plots when they read this one. They're going to plots. I'm plotting right now. Craft well you tell, John Byrne, but do so quickly. Already the full majesty of the cosmic truth is fading, for no mortal mind can long contain such knowledge. What? You mean you're going to forget? Will Leandra go after Reed again because of this? No. Only the ultimate truth will fade. The correctness of Reed Richards' actions shall remain unquestioned. But what about Galactus, Watcher? Is his task ended now, or will everyone just have to content themselves watching happily as the next world he consumes? To render things thus would be to rob life of free will. For all in the cosmos, but one is deprived of that freedom, Galactus. What happens next? Galactus will go on. The testing will continue until the distant day he finds a world with enough power to stop him, to end his cosmic hunger. On that day, Galactus may perish. On that day, the universe will mourn. Well, so Galactus is going to continue eating worlds until he comes to a world that can defeat him. Well, we had that world. It was called Earth. Earth defeated him. But Reed Richards, so his destiny is to keep going until a planet defeats him. And it happened. And then Reed saved him. So there we go. That's nice pages. I drew an eternity with Doctor Strange. I posted it last week. Yep. Cool. So what do you guys think? I really want to save my conclusions until it's clobbering time Friday night, but all I got to say is the Watcher's authority. And then Odin backed up. And then Eternity says that there's a destiny that he fulfills. Doesn't tell you what that destiny is, and then says Galactus is going to go and destroy things until a planet could kill him. Well, we've met a planet that could kill him and didn't kill him. It's so Galactus is an earthquake, a test. It's just such like first grade philosophical logic. It just drives me nuts. So basically, the seas, when the Vikings fell off the boats, or the boats capsized in the sea, like the Titanic was a test. Titanic was just a test. It's just, the way it was meant to be. Those people, they died for the purpose of the destiny. I'm not going to tell you what that destiny is. Oh yes, it's a great comic. It's a fun comic. Only Byrne or Lee Kirby could create this comic. Now, to read this to me is like the biggest blemish on Reed Richards. You know, you know, if if Batman pulls, well, that's a little different. If Batman pulls the Joker up onto the building, when the Joker goes to jail, then the Joker escapes. That's on the jail. That's on the jail. You know, but Dexter. Did anybody see Dexter? Dexter saves the Trinity killer, pulls him up onto the building, John Lithgow, and then John Lithgow finds out two Dexters and then kills Dexter's wife. That's Dexter's fault. You know what I mean? Through no fault of Dexter's action, and he only saved him for selfish reasons. You know, it's I don't know. I don't know. Am I wrong? Random Booby. It's an interesting dilemma of who should shoulder the blame of what's considered to be a force of nature. Ultimately, Reed isn't to blame, but someone has to take responsibility. But is Galactus a force of nature? Eternity never says he's a force of nature. He says he's fulfilling a grand destiny. So is Alexander the Great. So is George Washington. But Odin says that he's a force of nature. But I submit, if we're going to talk about Captain Kirk, can I make a deal with the tornado? Can a tornado get a herald to find the most efficient path to go through? Can a tornado decide it's only going to go to uninhabited islands for a little while and then change its mind and then destroy the Skrulls? Galactus can be reasoned with. Galactus could get drunk from Hercules. Galactus could feel emotions. Galactus considers somebody a friend. Galactus feels guilt, otherwise Doctor Strange wouldn't have been able to defeat him. Doesn't sound like a force of nature. It sounds like a being. You know what I mean? It says he doesn't have free will, but Galactus chose not to take out inhabited worlds. It chose not to destroy the Earth. You know, granted, it was forced not to, but you know, these doesn't sound like a force of nature. Force of nature you can't bargain with, you can't argue with, you can't logic with. It won't show up at a trial to defend itself. You know, Galactus is an intelligent. It builds things, builds spaceships. It creates heralds. It gets pissed off when its heralds betray him. You know, this is all intellect, which you know he's not. He's not a storm. You know, could somebody just declare that the Hulk? You know, or let's see who's a good bad guy. I can't even think of one right now, but like a destructive bad guy. He's just a force of nature. Can't put him in jail. You know, I don't know. That's the way I feel. What do you guys think? Am I crazy? Yes, I am crazy. But I love this comic. But this comic, more so than any other comic, just drives me nuts. To me, it's just like a freshman philosophical debate. Well, you know, he exists, man. And then I'm going to create all the other beings to back up my argument. You know, like I should ask Jim Shooter, did you allow this, or were you away too? You know what I mean? Like, because I think Jim Shooter would have been like, I don't know. Jim Shooter probably agreed with this, but to me, it just doesn't work. Galactus. So let's put it this way: if all of a sudden tomorrow cows were to develop intelligence, would do cows just have to like, hey, it's part of destiny that we get eaten by humans? It's just the way it is. Like they would judge us as evil from the point of view of the cow. You know, I still stand on record that saving Galactus was the wrong thing to do, because you could reason with Galactus, you could make deals with Galactus. You know what I mean? It's like, so we shouldn't defeat Satan. We can make deals with Satan. You could sell your soul with Satan. You know, you could bargain with Satan. You could chase Satan. Satan has a destiny, but you know, but you're telling me like if I could defeat Satan? No, I'm gonna save him. I'm gonna save Satan. You know, it's just childlike, and we accept the Watcher's authority when it's the Watcher's fault. It's a circular argument. The Hulk has been described as a force of nature, but he's not. But he's not. He can. A force of nature means you can't be reasoned with. You can't talk to. You know what I mean? Hulk loved Jarella, so you know what I mean. Like Hulk eats his beans and goes to sleep. You know, the Hulk has friends with Rick Jones, argues and sways his anger. You know, a force of nature is a force of nature. A tornado's coming. Tornado's coming. You don't make a deal with it. You don't argue with it. It doesn't explain its motives. It behaves in a predictable manner. Like a tornado just doesn't explode into fire. You know what I mean? We call things forces of nature, but you know, a supernova. The star's about to go supernova. Don't do it. Don't go supernova, star. Instead, I'll give you Frankie Ray, and then you could okay, and then the star doesn't go supernova. You know, supernova. It just happens. There's nothing you could do about it. And if the star was to go supernova, would anybody and Frankie Moskowitz could hit the button? If I hit this button, it doesn't go supernova. I'm gonna let it go supernova, guys, because you know it's got a destiny and it's in the universe, so therefore it must be good. You know, it's so F you, all those people, all those sentient races. So is Jean Grey bad? Phoenix Force is a part of nature. You know, the Dabari die. So you get what I'm saying? Why stop anything? It's from space, it's powerful, it's part of nature. You know, and again, I have conclusions to this that I want to talk about on It's Clobbering Time. So as normal, if anybody wants to comment, I'll keep talking until the comments cease. The Heavy Hitter was a force of nature. That was one of my characters in a role-playing game who may or may not show up in a future issue of Heroic Tales. Heavy Hitter was just he was like a Hulk level powerful guy. Just nothing was his fault. I love playing the Heavy Hitter. So what do you think, guys? I'm willing to entertain that I'm wrong. You know, and Marcus, you said that Odin is recognized as throughout the universe. I just don't see it. I recognize that Odin thinks he's a force throughout the universe. You know what I mean? But I just look at Odin as just like another superhero. He's Captain Marvel. You know what I mean? He went up against the Celestials and did all that stuff. But so did Reed Richards. Have I read the new Harley Quinn comic? No, I haven't. The Fartacular. I have not read it. Not interested. And I don't, you know, why even talk about it? Just, you know, DC and Marvel was fun in my, see, even when I don't like a comic, it's still, I recognize its greatness. It's a great comic. And I do like it. I disagree with it. I disagree with the conclusions. And again, I have a way to justify this comic in my mind, and I'll talk about it on It's Clobbering Time Friday. So this is the first two-parter on It's Sunday. Well, the series, but you know what I mean. Like it's a cliffhanger. You got to tune in on It's Clobbering Time to get the second half of this, and that should be fun because they should be like. I know Marcus will disagree with me, which is fun. Stippling, come on in. Everybody, come in and voice your opinions. You know about this. And who's calling me? My phone's ringing. Oh no, it's my wife. It's the ring. So there you go. It looks like the conversation is over. I'm gonna go get another cup of coffee. See you guys. Thanks a lot. My comic goes live Friday. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm excited. So I'll see you. And I will play my my trailer one more time, and then I'll tune out.